Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Alien Protocols. Today we have a very difficult question to find the answers to. And at best, over time, we will increase our percentages of knowing the accuracy of our predictions and beliefs about an advanced civilization or an advanced consciousness. And by doing experiments like this, we can use reductionist logic to improve our understanding. And over time, even rule out and rule in different things. And that's a sign and a hallmark of intelligence. And one of the real discriminating hallmarks that, of course, is scalable, from smaller animals' problem solving to, humans' ability to problem solve over years and things like that. So here's the question. What can we realistically believe more advanced beings can do with not only their mind-boggling technology, but also with just their pure consciousness? So this is looking at the scope of what we can realistically believe about, quote, more advanced beings. Well, first of all, and we can see this in our interactions with, quote unquote, lower intelligence animals, I don't think we can trust our senses or even logic when it comes to more advanced civilizations or species or groups. Because we can trick all sorts of animals on so many different levels, and even their senses, and even their logic. And you would expect, and the tricking can be complete. There's plenty of examples, but I think you guys can figure out what I'm talking about. There's so many examples. So we can't really trust our senses or even our logic when it comes to them. But let's look at their technology and think about just some of the things that we can realistically believe is possible with greater technology than ours. Well, first you'd have to believe that they would be able to learn everything we know and much more. Presuming otherwise would be really naive, I think. We send out so many electric and different types of signals that are easily accessed and sensed, and decoding them might be a very rapid affair for them. So they have the ability to learn everything we know and much more. And this is another hallmark of human intelligence. They have a higher probability of making future predictions. There's different levels of intelligence, and as you get more intelligence, that is one of those questions, that is one of those abilities that becomes greater and greater as you advance, for certain. So in keeping with that, we'd have to expect that they could be much faster or slower than us. They could operate at speeds we just wouldn't find possible. Maybe even faster than our rate of vision. So they'd be faster and could act slower than us. They could act slowly over incredibly long periods of time, you can be sure, is possible. And also, you think going with that would be the ability to operate at larger and smaller scales than we can even truly understand is possible now. We think nanotechnology is nanotechnology, but maybe they have the ability to operate at even smaller scales that would boggle our brain power. So they would certainly be able to powerfully trick us. And like all life forms, as you know, I've talked about, consciousness is awareness, and awareness is an ability to sense your environment first, and then an awareness to do things with it to improve your standing, like eating or breeding or, gathering resources. So these advanced beings would have a ability to access this universe far greater than we can, but also perhaps others. Not just universes, dimensions, and all the different things we don't know whether it's possible or not. So they certainly, as an advanced intelligence, would have greater awareness of reality and an ability to manipulate it. That is certainly another hallmark of intelligence. And so that's just some of the technological things we could expect very logically more advanced beings should be able to accomplish. But also, let's just look at their pure consciousness. What might that in and of itself be an improvement from ours? And what could some of those possible improvements be realistically? Well, of course, we've talked many times about hive mentalities, where you can still be an individual, but you can access the entire group, and perhaps even live as avatars through other beings in your group. And that would enable an incredible rate of knowledge growth. It'd be much faster. So many different benefits to that kind of mentality. And the society as a whole would certainly gain the benefit of protection from lone wolves. And that's a big deal. As technology gets more and more powerful, lone wolves have, less and less people have access to more and more damaging stuff. So there is this kind of thing that almost must happen. There has to be a sharing, an openness, a selflessness that you all can connect to and care about everyone, and thereby let them access you to be part of that community, you would think. Because at super high technology levels, the danger increases. And I think, some people could look at it as being evasive, and others could look at it as being completely open and earnest. So other things their consciousness could have access to, maybe high-end full psi, PSI, all the stuff associated with, from healing to telekinesis to remote viewing to all those different things. Maybe they have an ability, if all these things are accessible by other species, then you would think they would be able to do it. And we know from so much research, if you do good quality research, you'll see that all these things are real, even if at a smaller statistical significance. From telekinesis to telepathy to communication without words, you could have a universal type of communication they could access that we have no idea. So you'd have to expect that high-end full psi as a possibility. And here's just one more, is that they'd have super intelligence. And that's hard to understand, if it's someone's vastly more intelligent than us, you wonder, well, do they think evil is good or acceptable, or, do they even care about altruism? I don't know. I think these things kind of grow and expand as you get to higher consciousnesses. So they would certainly have a super intelligence, and as individuals, they would be able to predict future outcomes better. That's one of the hallmarks of a greater intelligence. And they probably can access and store far more data than we could. So this brings up a lot of possibilities and angles that you can really go down and hammer out using reductionist logic to find out more and more about advanced species. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts.